Alright, game number 2, a very warm welcome of this Group C of the 4th Newcomers Tournament for Off-World Trading Company. I'm Terra Incognita, and joining me for some additional commentary in this really interesting map without any carbon at all is Hexapus. What do you make of it, Hex?
It's nice map to go power robot.
Yep, Power Colony.
Power colony, half steel price, half double power
Yeah. So, and yeah, the electronics much better than glass as well. So
price. We
yeah.
forgot Masquerade.
Did we really?
Oh, wait.
How did? No, I don't think we did. I don't think we
You
did.
can see everyone.
It was the yeah.
You can see everyone, but my bad.
You gave me a little bit of a heart attack there, but yeah, I think we're
Sorry,
good.
my bad.
So
Okay,
Zorbaz
Otherwise, it's also the science spot in the middle.
dropping scientist, and this is an interesting science spot. It doesn't really have any steel close by.
Maybe-
He won't need it in the short term, but still, it's a problem.
Well, maybe he can actually get away with going with steel. Maybe I would go for actually just mining iron and go for steel, like build steel nearby.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much on. There's only the pirates on the black market, and honestly, steel isn't valuable enough for anyone really to be able to justify pirating it at the moment.
Also, the life support prices, they are all really low this game. So
Yeah, there's only really a couple of prices on the map. There's going to be power very soon. It might be power that gives somebody a big lead in this game, but also chems and glass are both quite high and both quite profitable because the things that go in to make them are quite cheap. So I think a lot of this game is going to be decided by who can get into those markets and make the amount of money that there is in chems and glass.
go into power could probably win the game. For the steel mills and
Oh, there's so many steel mills. Of course, the other thing about power in this game is that there's no scavenger, there's no carbon at all on the map other than the dry ice, so no scavengers, and therefore everyone's going to be consuming a lot of power. And look at that power price, already up at nearly $140, and whoever can get into that power first is really going to be at quite a big advantage at this point in the game. That power price is going to sustain itself for quite a long time.
this is actually an interesting option. I mean, there are not that many silicon tiles. This is the remake.
Oh, this was Zorbaz buying an auction. So
really?
yeah, so he wants that silicon tile.
stick. Then you should never auction off something that worthwhile. And if he's
Yeah.
gonna auction off something, he should auction off the low tile, not the medium tile.
Yeah, because he claimed the low and then auctioned the medium, which is an interesting decision, and I'm not sure I like this at all, just because already there's a high tile being collected by Alex, which is an interesting decision. I can maybe understand why Alex went for this tile. Despite the really high shipping costs, it does give him a way into power, but Zorbaz taking 2 remote silicon claims, one of which he paid a lot of money for from that auction, is now in B levels of debt and no real way to get into power, at least in the short term before that silicon comes in.
So it's gonna be really tough for him from now on.
Oh, and the other problem with Zorbaz is that that's glass. That's not. He's not making silicon there. He's making glass there, which is going to be profitable. But again, there's pirates. It's going to be really hard for him to keep that glass for himself first of all, and then secondly, it's going to be really hard for him to get that money at any time soon because the shipping distance is so big.
Yeah, and pirates might get the oxygen instead of the grass, so you can kind of risk it. I like what Ian doing. Just skip steel and
Yeah,
go
is
for the
that
grass.
has the game been updated so that outbound ships now get pirated as well? Because I know that was a change that was coming. I'm not sure whether it's actually gone
I thought
through yet
pirates
though.
would just steal any ship, you know.
No, it used to be that they only steal ships that are going to the HQ, as it were. But I think that's a forthcoming change that they won't be anymore. But I'm not sure whether it's gone through yet. Meanwhile, this
I
power
think it's gone
situation.
through. I think I have seen.
Okay. So maybe that is the case. I don't know, but in any case, I think Zorbaz is actually going to get some glass coming through. He's in D levels of debt now, though, which is a huge problem for him. Power at $266. Nobody really making a surplus of power. I guess Ian now is with that single wind turbine and the single solar panel. He's also almost paid through his debt, so very soon he's going to be making money from that power. Good Eye Sniper as well, in a little bit of a power surplus, has that geotherm up and running, is now getting 1 power a second, but the price is still going up because Zorbaz is consuming so much. He's firmly now in that D level of debt. Alex is just about treading water in terms of power, but really that's the story of this game. It's the only real price on this map.
Yep, power is very important. But sometimes I do get a bit bored of power being the only resource that matters, but you have to respect that.
Well, I mean, I think the thing about power in this game is that it was just ignored for so long, and the fact that it was a power colony, power started high, no one went into that power very early. Certainly nobody committed multiple tiles to it at HQ2, and that was really what people needed to do to knock that price down. And I think the person who's going to get really far ahead in this game is the person who's going to be putting down that power very soon indeed. I think Zorbaz, frankly, is out of it at this point. I don't think there's any way for him to catch up. He's in too much debt. He's in those electrolysis reactors, which again are just burning money in terms of that debt, and it's not something that he can really get too much of an advantage from either.
I really hope Ian would take the geothermal right next to him. He couldn't. That's kind of disappointing.
Yeah, he really needed to do that, and there was definitely an opportunity for him to do that. There's cheap steel as well, which...
there's no reason not to take it.
Yeah, no reason at all not to take that. Really needed to do that. Zorbaz getting to HQ4 first, but yeah, Alex realizing that Zorbaz is extremely vulnerable, has a $7 stock price, and that's only going to go down at the next debt tick. He's not going to be able to get out of the debt that he's in. Hacker array auction.
Buy up small banks, then actually ours will be in very good position. Once his debt is gone, he's going to be profitable, making steel, well, not so much steel, but glass. Even from far away, no one will pirate the subsidiary.
Yeah, I mean he's got that silicon coming in, and he's shipping that silicon an awful long way at great expense. He is a robot, so that's $200 shipping costs for that high silicon tile at the moment for Alex. Obviously it's debt, but even so, it's a lot of money. Ian and Good Eye Sniper both now making power money. Ian is making quite a bit of power money, or he wasn't before those steel mills came online. Instead, is
only the surplus. He still made 191. That's better than his food, his reactors, anything else.
Yeah, it's silicon is definitely going up in price. Zorbaz, well, I mean, I say Zorbaz needs to defend himself. Zorbaz needs to do several things right now, one of which is pay off that $240,000 debt that he has, and he's just not going to do that because power continuing to go up and still nobody gets in to any serious amount of power. It's everyone is running a power deficit right now. Everyone.
We're actually waiting for Zorbaz to become a sub AI and go to a
yeah, and just make whoever buys him a whole ton of money. I mean, it's difficult for people to get into power because the silicon price is really high, the carbon price is really high. Zorbaz does defend himself, but he's not going to have a stock price at all very soon indeed. 330,000 of debt now.
Thanks for a second.
Yeah. And so Ian does now have 2 solar panels down with adjacency, with that solar flare as soon as daytime comes. So he's going to be paying through that debt so quickly. Look at this, 3,000 and then a shortage as well. So Ian is going to be making so much money. I think it was a natural shortage. I'm going to double check. I'm not absolutely sure. It seems like it was a natural shortage, yes.
Wow, this map really wants power.
So Ian now has a huge amount of money. And he's getting a huge amount of money every single second that this power is online. He's putting another solar panel down. And I think honestly, he's just going to win the game from this. I don't really see any way that he doesn't just win the game right here. Unless he gets shut down right now. He's getting such a huge lead from this. He's going to get Zorbaz as a subsidiary, a very valuable HQ5 subsidiary at that. Almost certainly.
For a
Geotherm
second,
auction.
Geotherm was gonna sell up for 7,000. It's far away, but still not worth it. Look at steel price. It's like cheap. Aluminum price cheap.
Yeah.
We could go to 24, maybe 28 for this.
I mean, it's just
Anything higher would be kind of.
it's worth a lot. I mean, finally the power price is coming down mainly because Ian has just committed a bunch to it. And as I said, I think he might just win the game because he has, honestly. Really needs to buy up Zorbaz. Zorbaz is an incredibly valuable subsidiary, HQ5 as a scientist, and he's going to be worth no money at all very, very soon indeed.
A bit of a strange stock praise by Ian by going into F.
Yeah, it seems like a mistake. I mean, he could have bought Zorbaz by now, quite frankly. And Zorbaz is actually paying off his debt, albeit very slowly, and he's still going to take some enormous debt ticks. But he is now in some power, and he is going to be able to pay some of that off. And actually his stock price has gone up to $14 now. So again, had Ian been able to strike Zorbaz while his stock price was $8 rather than $14, he would have been at a big advantage. But honestly, Ian just buying everyone, and he's so far ahead at this point in terms of cash that he might be able to get away with doing that.
Yeah, and with the high stock price from buying everyone, I don't think anyone will have the money to buy him up.
Yeah, he's also an expansive player as well at HQ4, which really is going to benefit him a lot. Huge debt tick from Zorbaz. He backed down in that $350,000 of debt, 81,000 that debt tick from Zorbaz. So a huge amount of money, and all Ian needs to do now is save up 133 or about $130,000 to get that purchase onto Zorbaz.
People are spending meals getting the one silicon.
Yeah, wow. Oh, look at this. Oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. There's so many mules. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
How I put Corey on there.
All of this silicon coming back. And yeah, Ian is spending, he's got 9 mules out there. He's spending 0.9 fuel per second on mules. So I mean, it probably is. Yeah, it probably is. Silicon's really good. He needs to sell it down though, because silicon is being collected by other people. Alex now got those glass kilns off. These glass kilns have been up for a long time, and they really needed to be something else at some point for Alex. Not making him any money. And the good news for everyone else is that power is now finally under control. It's back down at $144, but Ian made so much money from that power just with these 4 solar panels right here. Made so much money. Medium water tile is going to be fairly valuable, although possibly not as valuable as 36,000. That seems a lot. Yeah.
Once you buy out the scientists, right? The scientists will sell stuff there, so.
Alex with the EMP, which he didn't target directly on anything, perhaps thinking that it might be gooned, the geotherm there. So isn't going to be freezing anything out for a long time, but does get that big AoE attack, which makes a big difference. But Ian, look at the stock that Ian has in just everyone else in this game. It's such a big advantage for him. It could be a bigger advantage, honestly, had he gone into Zorbaz more directly, had he targeted Zorbaz down rather than splitting his cash between everyone else. But he's just got so much more stock than everyone else in this game. That $50 stock price almost.
Well, while we were kind of wrote Zorbaz off, he managed to get teleportation, and he actually has a really big stockpile of money.
He's got a lot of money. He's in still a huge amount of debt. Is there any chance that he comes back in this game? He needs to pay off his debt right now if he wants to, but
now, right?
he's going to instead take 102,000 debt tick. Look at this stock
If
price.
he managed to, if he paid all his debt, it would be like 100k debt. Probably that will get him back to C, and that
Yeah.
will be 20k interest, and he'll be still in the game.
And his stock price would have gone up to what, $20 or something like that. It would have been certainly a lot higher than it is at the moment. So Ian needs to realize now that he has the money to kill Zorbaz, and he needs to do that because that is the way he just wins this game right now. Gets that extra stock in Zorbaz, gets those 2 claims, even gets some of his own stock now as well because Zorbaz is buying into him.
Well, just wait for Zorbaz to buy all 5 and then. Maybe just a bit.
Yeah, you could do that. I mean, you totally could do that. Zorbaz's stock price has gone up to $18 now, so Ian does need
Drop.
190. It's dropping, yeah, it's dropping really quickly because he is in nearly $500,000 of debt. But Ian really needs to realize that he has... Oh, and he's building an off-world market. This is a big, big, big mistake. Doesn't really even matter how good off-worlds are. They are pretty good. They're nearly 50,000 a launch, but just the amount of time that it's going to take to build this off-world market, the amount of time that it's going to take for it to be profitable. He needs the money right now.
After building an off-world, you still have money to buy off Zorbaz.
I don't think he will. The off-world costs about 50,000 given current prices, so he's still a good 50 or 60,000 short when this off-world completes. But again,
the
just
next step will make Zorbaz even cheaper. And
yeah, it will.
Someone should really pick it up if Ian.
And again, Zorbaz not with enough money to get himself out of that D level of debt. So it is going to be a big, big stock price crash for him. We've not spoken too much about the other players in this game, and honestly, Good Eye Sniper is making some money now, but it's not going to be anywhere near enough. He's too far behind at this point, and so is Alex. Again, this glass commitment just hasn't worked out at all. He's brought in the silicon, but really not bringing in enough silicon to make the glass worthwhile. But again, Ian just needs to recognize that he's got this money. Needs to recognize that the way he wins this game is by buying Zorbaz as soon as he possibly can.
Good Eye Sniper is not that far away from buying out Zorbaz, and then Good Eye Sniper will actually have a pretty decent chance to come back.
Maybe. I mean, he only gets half of his stock if he does, so that's a little bit of a problem. Oh, this is a little bit painful at this point. Ian's had this game locked up for a long, long time, but Zorbaz just hasn't quite realized that the way he wins is he's got financial instruments, and I wonder if he's thinking that what he's going to do is just farm those debt ticks for Zorbaz, which is going to make him a lot of money, but again, he could just win the game. Zorbaz so cheap now, $8.80 stock price.
Alice is not in a profitable market for any amount, like for a long time. Like he has cam on for a long time, but he doesn't have the carbon production to support them. So even with the dust storm coming, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, these chems are really terrible for Zorbaz because he's got because Ian actually has a bunch of chems as well. And yeah, they're losing money. He's got a huge stockpile, and it's just burning his money. Is he going for a second off-world? No, he's rebuilding his first, which got knocked down by somebody dynamiting, and that's going to happen again. Good Eye Sniper does have a dynamite ready to go, and I think he's going to use it very soon indeed on Ian's off-world. So, debt tick once again for Zorbaz. There's the dynamite on the electrolysis reactor from Ian, which is an interesting decision. That's not going to be too painful for him, but Zorbaz is now going to take this huge debt tick. He's in 570,000 of debt. It's going to be
something close to 120.
It's going to be, I think, more than that. I think it's going to be about 170,000, 172,000. So Zorbaz is now absolutely worthless, and Ian, at this point, is in danger of losing this game if he doesn't buy Zorbaz right now. Does have that red button, and Zorbaz...
82%.
Oh my gosh, wow. He did get there. But my goodness, he made us sweat for it. So Ian does get the buy on Zorbaz. Does have that.
He probably lock up the whole game.
Absolutely, definitely locks up the whole game. He's got the very valuable scientific subsidiary. It really is valuable with teleportation.
He also got carbon scrubbing.
Yep, carbon scrubbing, teleportation with that remote food, the remote glass.
These two are the most powerful patterns.
Yep. Yeah, they absolutely are. As Ian's off-world gets blown up once again, but it's really not going to matter at all at this point. The other players...
Still at 29?
No, it doesn't make any difference. Ian getting that money from the subsidiary, and the other players, if they were to buy out Ian, between them, would need $1.5 million.
I don't think it's gonna work.
I don't think there's any chance at all of that happening. So Ian, with that power, and we mentioned the power situation. We mentioned the power situation over and over again. Even from the start of this game, it was a power colony. It was power was high, steel was low, all of those things, but nobody committed to power until it had reached pretty much $350. And at that point, Ian, with those solar panels, winning the game just because of that. It took him a while to realize that he'd won the game and to hit the correct buttons in terms of the stock market, but he got there in the end. He's going to take this game number 2.
He was too ahead, you know, they can't catch up.
Yeah.
Like, Sniper tried putting a good effort trying to catch up, but...
Well, the only way Ian lost was if he let Zorbaz get enough money to buy him out. And honestly, it was quite close.
Zorbaz got to 80%.
He was at 80%.
So,
it was close. But yeah, you just need that killer instinct a little bit to know when you have the money to buy somebody out and whether they're going to be valuable or not. And Zorbaz was extremely valuable.
A lot of time, new players have a lot of money tied in stockhouse. Like, there's 400 in aluminum, 160 in carbon, a bunch in chem.
It's all worth a lot of money.
That you have that much money, and so sometimes, although selling is not the best option, but you know, at least you have the cash on the hand that you know, hey, I have that much money, I can do such.
Yeah. And if you need to know how much cash and resources you have in total, you can mouse over your HQ and it'll tell you there. So if you need to know how much money you can potentially draw upon, if necessary, then that's how you do that. At this point in this game, we're just going through the motions. The attack onto Ian is much too little and much too late. Ian can buy whichever of the two players he wants out right now. Gets the red button on Good Eye Sniper. I wonder if he's going to take it.
Probably will. Yes, no.
He might be waiting for Alex instead, and I think Alex will actually be slightly better. Instead, he goes for Good Eye Sniper. Alex has 2 of his stock. Good Eye Sniper only has the 1, but at this point it really doesn't make any difference at all. It's going to be
almost the beginning of the game, and it's not working out for him. I think he's trying to hack up grass.
Very possibly. Let me check that.
But and then you know, if the like, you don't have to make the item that you're hacking. You can just buy into it. As long as no one else is in that market, you can earn money through it.
Yeah, he's hacked glass 5 times, which is a big problem because it's a lot of resources that he's used to try and get that glass to be profitable. He's got too many glass kilns though, and not enough silicon coming in. And despite that glass getting valuable over and over with that hacker array, it's not valuable enough because silicon is at nearly $200. Just not a sustainable market for Alex to go into, and didn't make him anywhere near enough money to be worthwhile. And again,
Oh,
Ian.
has enough money to buy off Alex.
Yeah, but again, not
Realizing.
realizing that he has that money. I mean, again, at this point, it's absolutely no consequence at all, because he's 100% going to win this game. But again, just lacking that. And time is a tiebreaker as well in this tournament, so it could potentially matter in the long term, but it doesn't matter that much, quite frankly.
Doesn't matter. Like, very rarely it will go down to the.
So there's the red button. Ian taking this game number 2. Well played to him, and it was all about the power situation at HQ3. He went into power. He committed into that power, into those solar panels, before anyone else was able to, and just made so much money. Again, took a while to finish the game after that, just because he was splitting all of his attacks between the other 3 players instead of trying to target down the most valuable player, who was certainly Zorbaz. But he does take game number 2, and well played to him.